I went no contact with my mother over 30 years ago. And I have learned quite a few things along the way throughout my journey. I actually ended up losing my entire narcissistic family system. And I put it in quotations because of the fact that I never had them in the first place. They knew my mother was being abusive. They knew that she was not a safe person. And they left me in that care, for lack of a better word. And then when I became an adult and I went no contact with my main abusers, which was my mother and my grandfather, they stood with the abusers and continue to do so. So if you're out there and you're struggling with these relationships right now and you're realizing that you may have no other option than to cut off these relationships, particularly with your main abuser, whether it's your mother, your father, or worse, both. I want to tell you a few things that I would have done differently. I was 23 years old. I wrote my mother a 7-page letter documenting all the things, the highlights of the things or lowlights of the things that she did to me that caused me irreparable harm, or what I thought was irreparable at the time. And I realized that there's nothing that I put in there that she didn't already know. So what was that letter really? A validation that she succeeded in hurting me in the worst ways possible. Well, that was her goal. A validation that I would have to be working for a lifetime to heal from those things. Also, her goal. A validation that I was sad and upset and that I wanted her to be my mommy, but I knew that I had to accept she never would be. Also, validating something that was her goal. If I had to do it all over again, and look, I'm not living in regret over this. Like, I don't care how she feels about that now. I'm just realizing that there was a better way to do this for my feeling empowered and retaining my power. And that would be just to simply write her a little note that I am off to live my best life. And that I recognize in order to do that, that our relationship is never going to be a healthy, loving relationship that it should have been. Not that I wish it to be. And that I wish her nothing but the best in her future. Or if you want to be a little snarky, you could say, I wish you the future you deserve. For me, I would just do the other. Because I wouldn't want her to get any satisfaction whatsoever. And I wouldn't want her to know any part of what my emotional situation was at that time. And at that time, I was hurt and I was angry. And the reason I wouldn't want her to know that is because she's not worthy of knowing how I feel on the inside. So that's how I would have done it. And that 7-page letter, I absolutely would have written it and kept it for me. I kept the letter my mother wrote me that precipitated my 7-page letter. And I'm so happy I did. People go, burn them. Don't burn them. Put them away. Because one day in the future, when you're having a moment of feeling like, oh, was it that bad? That letter is there for you. Another moment in the future, when you kind of want to look back and know who you were 10, 20, 30 years ago, those letters are going to help you. I look back at that 22, 23-year-old that wrote that 7-page letter, and I have so much love for her, which means that I'm loving a part of me through those letters. So they're really valuable to keep them. I also want to let you know that when you go no contact with one family member, the mother or the father, you are going to likely lose other people in the process. If you are from a narcissistic family system, you are going to lose other people in the process. And one of the things that's going to drive you crazy, that's going to affect you so much emotionally, is losing the people that you never thought would not be on your side, the people that had the rays of hope, the people that showed you a little bit of love, the people who saw what was happening and you're standing up and speaking about it and they're denying it and they're not validating you. You're going to go through a lot of loss because of that. This is not just about the loss of the relationship you never had with your mother or your father. It's also about the loss of all of these people who stand behind the abuser. It is how that family system works. You are never going to get an answer why. It doesn't make sense. It's just who they are. But you're going to be okay. I lost everyone, and I had to build a family through having children, and not everybody does that. And there's times I've been completely alone, like in my adulthood, because my kids have, flown the nest and they're living their best life. And they're living their best life, by the way, because they weren't exposed to that toxicity. Because I chose to break the cycle of abuse by removing them from any possibility of being abused by my mother and my grandfather. But in my adult life, there's been times I've been completely alone without any sort of support system, because my children are not my support system. I am theirs. And that's hard. And it can be really isolating. It can be really lonely. But on every front, there is nothing that would be worse than being attached to that family system. I'd rather be alone in those moments, which I have been, and make it through those moments and deal with my healing journey, than continually be attached to somebody who's contributing to things that I need to be healed from. So I hope this video was helpful for you. If there's anything that you would like me to cover, if there's a question that you have, put it in the comments section. It takes me a little while to get around to the comment section because I'm working. I'm working as a therapist for people who are healing from narcissistic family systems. I also run support groups. So if you're interested in anything like that, in the comment section, you will find information there to get in touch with me. And, just do what's good for you. Do the best you can for you. Prioritize your own needs and know that you are strong enough to make it through this, even if you don't feel that way right now. And the reason I know that is because you made it through the original abuse. If you could make it through that to this point where you're seeking better health, emotional well-being and healing, you are in a really good place right now. It just may not feel very good right now, but it will get better, I promise you.